Hey there, I'm Sandy Reese, Chief Encouragement Officer here at Get Fully Funded, where we show small nonprofits how to raise the money they need to fully fund their operations. Today I want to talk about your website. I think most people know you need a website. You need an online presence or an online storefront where donors and prospects can find you and read up about what your organization is doing. Now, most people are going to be curious and come check out your website out of that curiosity. So maybe they've seen a friend of theirs share a post on social media, or maybe they heard you speak someplace and they're curious, they want to see more about your organization. Or maybe somebody's just Googling a topic and they happen to run across your website. Either way, you need to have the virtual welcome mat out and ready and make sure that your website is working for you. And if you want it to be a fundraising tool, then there are a few things that you need in place. So today I'm going to share 4 keys that you really need to have all buttoned up, and you need to have these in place in order for your website to work for you well as a fundraising tool. Okay. So the first one is the text on your website must be consumable. And what that means is people are very busy and they're not going to read a long page of text. So you've got to have short little paragraphs, lots of images, some video. Even if you do your website yourself, it has got to look professional. It's got to look professionally done. It's got to look inviting. Because here's the thing. We can be amazing, nice people in person, and we get online and we have the attention span of a gnat. We're not going to read through a whole lot of stuff. So make sure your website is consumable. So that means you've got to look at it through the eyes of your donor and your visitor to make sure it looks easy to read. Then you also want to make sure the text is easy to read. You don't want to use a lot of jargon and acronyms and crap that people won't understand. Use conversational language so that the text is consumable. All right, the next thing is offer the information that people are looking for. Here's another place where you've really got to put yourself in the shoes of your donor or visitor and think about what are they curious about when they arrive at our website. You might even want to make a list. You might want to do some brainstorming with your team and think about when somebody who doesn't really know anything about your organization arrives at your site, what's on their mind? What are they looking for? What do they think they know about your organization? What are the myths around your organization? And that's what you want to address. See, that there's a difference here in what we call push and pull marketing. Push marketing is when you say, well, I want people to know this, and I'm going to push that all out at somebody. On the receiving end of that, it feels like drinking from a fire hose. And honestly, when you just get in the mindset of, I'm just going to tell you everything you need to know, that's when you risk oversharing, turning people away. It's not good all the way around. You've probably been on the receiving end of a website like that where you get on there and there's too much information. You don't want to read it. You can't understand it. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm going somewhere else. Pull marketing is when you think about your visitor, you think about your donor, and you think about what they're curious about, and you share a little bit and you pull them in, mostly with a story. You pull them in with some key information that they are already thinking about. Now see, here's the thing. When you put yourself in the donor's shoes and you anticipate what their questions are, you can finish the conversation that they have already started in their mind. When they have already asked themselves questions about your mission or your cause or the people you're helping, when you're using that pull marketing and you're addressing those issues, it's like you're answering those questions. You're telepathically communicating with them, or that's what they're going to think. Wow, you really know what you're doing here. It builds trust. So offer the information they're looking for. That's key number 2. Number 3 is tell a heart-tugging story. You already know this. Everybody talks about storytelling and fundraising and how important it is. But you have to tell a heart-tugging story. So I was just working with a client this week as we were identifying the story that they wanted to put into a video that's going to go above the fold. And what that means is that first panel, when you first see a website without scrolling, that's above the fold. So we were really thinking about how do we want to tell that story? What are the parts of that story that the donor really needs to hear? So you don't want to tell the whole thing. And there were actually a couple of facts that I said, I don't know, I think I'd put that on a different page. Like, let's only tell them what they need to go, wow, this is really cool. I want to read more. Now, here's another thing you can think about. Your nonprofit is fighting an enemy. Whether you realize it or not, you are fighting an enemy. And if you can highlight that in the story that you tell, in the videos that you share, it's going to help people identify quickly that they're part of your team and they want to help. So what is that enemy? Well, if your organization is a food pantry, your enemy is hunger. If your organization works with the homeless, then your enemy is homelessness. If your organization is the arts, your enemy is dull life. The arts enrich people's life. You give people an amazing experience. So think about what the enemy is for your organization and how you're going to address that on your website. Because if you tell that, if you make that part of your story and your messaging, people are going to get excited about what you're doing and they're going to want to get on board with you. They're going to want to give. They're going to want to volunteer. They're going to want to support you. Okay, so the fourth one is make the donation process smooth, easy, and as with few clicks as possible. You don't want people to have to click 10 or 12 times to make a donation. Even 3 or 4 times is way too much. Don't make people create an account to make a donation. I've had to do that a couple of times in the last few years, and frankly, I'll just go away. I'm not creating an account to give you money. I'm not. I'll go find another organization that makes it easy. So if you haven't tested your Donate Now button lately, you should do that. Frankly, you should test it frequently, at least a couple of times a year, because technology goes wonky sometimes and you want to make sure that that button is working. I really recommend during the holidays, like right before you start your holiday campaign, test your Donate Now process. You want to make sure that it's smooth. You want to make sure it works. You want to make sure that the thank you letter is warm and conversational and makes people feel good. Don't just use the default language that comes with whatever software you're using. Make it warm, make it welcoming, make it friendly. All right, so there's your 4 keys. Your website must be consumable. Make it easy, offer the information they're looking for, tell a heart-tugging story, and make sure that donation process is working for you. Those will help you turn your website into a fundraising tool so that you can raise more money and change more lives. That's what we're here for. Okay, you can get more tips just like these on our blog at getfullyfunded.com/blog. We write a new one every week, jam-packed full of practical information you can use right away. And you can sign up to get it delivered hot and fresh right into your inbox. Or go to our YouTube channel for more videos just like this. Be sure and subscribe so you're the first to find out when we release something new. You'll find that at getfullyfundedtv.com. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye.